Yes, this is me, Hudson George, tonight. Doing a little thing as usual, you know. Always doing my thing. So tonight my topic is Wodemaya is in Grenada. And he's visiting Carriacou and Pidimatnik. So he'll go all over the state of Grenada, Carriacou and Pidimatnik. Now Wodemaya is the most known black blogger or podcaster or whatever what he doing. Linking the continent of Africa with the diaspora, right? We know in Grenada we have a history of mainland Grenada per se. Everything about Africa and slavery is based on a socialist narrative. It's more common around that. And then you have a small pocket of Rastafari who base the narrative on Ethiopia. To me, which is an illusion. Eh? We don't have no tie with Ethiopia in terms of our journey to the Americas, Caribbean. They didn't take slavery in Ethiopia and drop in the Caribbean. So I don't know whether they're smoking or if they're dreaming and they want to believe that. Well, I'm a black man, I'm qualified to talk. I don't believe that. So Wodemaya is in the Caribbean. And for deep African traditions that really intact, that never change for the time our ancestors come to this region. Well, if the change is very little change, they're almost the same. You have to go to Haiti, Suriname, and Grenada, the mainland on the island Carriacou, Grenada. These three places, African cultures is not really modified that much, right? It's not modified. You could take it to where it's going. It's not no illusion culture or culture evolving during the slavery into other cultures. So it seems that if Wodemaya is having a good time in Carriacou, and what they show him, he could put together, and he could link it to West Africa. Now, when the Rastaman talk, there is no link. He will tell you about Solomon is King Selassie, great father, right? So they can't really link nothing. They're going by a biblical thing, right? And if they do DNA, he wouldn't take them to Solomon, those that were in the Caribbean. So it's a biblical teaching tied to bit of Pan-Africanism too, and created in Jamaica through oppression. So let us respect it still. It's not no disrespect to the Rastafari. But I'm dealing with traditions and culture that come from Africa, what is almost the same. Haiti, Suriname, and Grenada, right? On the island Carriacou. And on mainland Grenada, you go to a place like River Sali where you have this Salaka or Saraka that never changed since the people came. Then we have Igun masquerade in Grenada like Shotney, Veko. If you look into African culture, you see those kind of things. Then there's a mass that almost dying out now, we call Sweet Mass. They played in my village home, it is St. Patrick's. But the older people dying out now, right? And when I leave home, it is St. Patrick, my bordering village to the north of me. The next village is Montreach. And if you go to Montreach, you're going to see slave pens. And there is one in Hermitage, one slave pen in Hermitage in my village. But there is about, I think nine, either 7 or 9 slave pens in Montreach. So if diaspora Africans that travel from the United States, where the blacks more have access to money, and Caribbean blacks who got money living in America, Britain, Canada, and they have an extra dollar, let us go to West Africa and see those places of no return and this slave, how you call it, slave jail or slave castle, where they used to lock up slaves. But in Grenada, if you come, you're going to see, go to Montreat, you're going to see where they punish slaves. So we don't know if those slaves used to stay in this pen, these jails, for 2 years, 5 years. We don't know how many years they were jailed in. But we know on those places of no return in Africa, on the West Coast, those slaves were docked there to be shipped in the Americas, Caribbean, South, Central, and North America. So I'm begging the people in my parish, St. Patrick, to invite St. Patrick, Grenada, to invite Wodemaya to visit the slave pen in Montreach. Because the people in Carriacou is showing them the history what remain. You understand? Our recent history, we keep talking about a failed revolution, but we don't know the end of the story. And also, if you take him to Belvedere in Guave and Fedor's camp and all them places, and Pilot Hill, Grenville, and your Battle Hill in Grenville, St. Andrews area, he will able to see there was some history of black struggle. So, yes, you could take him to the fort and all them things, but a European history. And what the European was doing to us. But when he come to Grenada, he's seen cultures of the black people that survive. So if you go to a place like Montreach or you visit Hermitage, you're going to see the slave pen and he will be able to say, oh, those slave prisons on the west coast of Africa, they're bigger, but the punishment is similar because you're in captivity. You've been incarcerated, right? So, Wodemaya in Grenada, most popular black or African blogger or podcaster, or you want to call him, very rutical, seems to be an educated guy who keep his language with the people. He's not on the intellectual trip, he's on the historical trip bringing people together. So I hope some smart Grenadian will tell him, go visit Montreach slave pens and visit Hermitage slave pen too. You will get access to see more of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique and the history of the black people. But in Carriacou, he is getting the real history because Carriacou people keep lots of culture. You don't only see historical documents and buildings of structure and things written in the registry, but he could enjoy African culture in Carriacou, and maybe he know some of the songs because he was talking about Kumanti, and Kumanti, there are Kumanti dancers, Kumanti drummers in Carriacou. Kumanti is Ghana. Right? I think they say Carriacou people beat 26 different type of drums, and they could connect it with their ancestors. So I won't say I totally correct the amount, but I think it's 26 different type of drum. It could be more or it could be a little less, but I think it's 26. It's somewhere in the over 25. So Wodemaya trip is what you call Pan-Africanism without no intellectual discourse behind it, with a socialist kind of an academic thing. He's connecting the continent of Africa with the diaspora Africans. So he should be shown those places. And also up in Sotes, they should always show him the Indian arrival place, even though the Indians came from India, the East Indians. But it's part of the history after the Africans. Take him to those places. In Ovens Bay, Bushiri, St. Patrick, take him there. But the main historical attraction for Muda, for the brother, for Wodemaya, is supposed to be Montreach slave pens and the slave pen in Hermitage. This is in the northern parish on mainland Grenada. And when he in Carriacou, he is in Ghana or in another African country. Because Carriacou is Africa, outside Africa. And maybe they should, all the black cultures that remain, they should come together and make something and treat Wodemaya good, So he could come back again and he could come with more people, because Grenada still got some good African cultures that some other Caribbean islands don't have. You understand? So no, Wodemaya trip is not an intellectual discourse or left-wing politics or imperialism. We're dealing with the African history. So I hope somebody see that live and could maybe phone Wodemaya and tell him, link up with somebody to take him to Montreach and Hermitage. But all the way from Hermitage, if he go to Montreach, he will see more slave pens. But he could visit both villages, because the two villages, they border each other. Anyway, this is me, Hudson George. I gone, till I come again. This is just a short live tonight. Sometimes you don't have to say a lot. Sometimes a snippet tell a lot of story, right? So anyway, a snippet or a précis. So anyway, this is me, Hudson George. I gone till I come again. Next time I will be talking about other developments in Grenada. But all for now, I keep it with Wodemaya visit. Take him to those places. This is me, Hudson George. I gone till I come again.